Wizards of the Coast is battening down the hatches. They are preparing for the inevitable because they have a natural disaster coming and there's nothing they can do to avoid it. Wizards of the Coast is in a mirror right now and they're telling themselves it's fine. Everything is fine. They're getting calls from Hasbro and they're telling Hasbro everything is fine. We've got it. We know what we're doing. But really, it's a lot worse than people expected, and the numbers are starting to show. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. And you know what, guys? It's worse than we expected. But Wizards of the Coast, as a company, as a larger organism that is part of Hasbro, has been planning for this. They knew that the party just couldn't keep going forever. They knew there'd be a slowdown. And it's finally really here. It's really settling in now for the long haul. Now, what I mean by that is when they planned for it, guys, when they knew, that doesn't look so good. Those sales are getting slow. People are really starting to complain. Look at these subreddit boards. Look at the chats on our Magic Twitch streams. This isn't going so hot. So what happens? They start pruning the branches that aren't doing well. Jumpstart, gone. Brawl decks gone, Pioneer gone. You can see the plan as they tried to slim things down, get the margins back, and without having to do massive price increases. Okay, yeah, they did price increases, but we were hoping they wouldn't because their plan probably said we can only do a little tiny bit. But instead, they pulled a 360. They got rid of draft boosters and brought us in play boosters, and they said it was better for everyone, and you should like it because it's better for everyone. Now, of course, the play booster boxes are selling horribly, by the way. I don't care what anyone tells you. They're selling horribly. Done the math. It's bad. Collector boxes, depending on the set, still not doing great. And really, the sales overall are slow compared to what they used to be back in 2021 and 2022. Remember, the party days were great, but now we don't have a party. Now we're in something called a drought. You guys know what a drought is? Let me share with you the definition of a drought. A drought is a disaster type. A drought is a period of drier than normal conditions. I said normal. Normal conditions. Now, picture that. Normal conditions. So think about how it was 5 years ago for Magic the Gathering. Think about when they brought us in things like Throne of Eldraine. Look where we are now. It's totally different. A drought can last for days, months, or years. Yeah, because you got your players upset. We're not looking at the product the way we used to. A drought often has large impacts on ecosystems and agriculture. Yeah, the ecosystem of Magic got messed up and a whole bunch of stores had to close because Wizards overplanted their crops. You know what market saturation is? You've reached the peak of what you can sell. They oversaturated the market to the max. And now they're in a period of contraction. They're in a sales slump. They're not doing so well. They just can't hit it out of the park like they used to. So what does that mean for a company? What does this mean going forward for you, the consumer? Well, the easiest way to say is you're screwed. Not much is going to change. They need to keep their margins higher. They got to make more money with less products. They've got all kinds of internal issues going on with this Magic art stuff. We know about that. It's been touched big time with MTG Historian. You should check out his stuff. He does a lot better take on that stuff. I get it. I follow it. But that's just not really my bag when it comes to MTG finance. But at the same time, we know there's going to be lawsuits. Now, is that going to cost the company big money? No, not in terms of something like Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, because they'll have the big corporate lawyers go in there and say, "Mwah." But I want you to think about this. Wizards of the Coast has pruned the branches of what products they offer. They haven't really done a lot in terms of what they need to promote. They need standard to be healthy. Have you looked at the cards in Thunder Junction? It's two mishmash smaller, a big small set smashed together to give you all kinds of craziness. A lot of the cards that are about to enter into standard with Thunder Junction are going to be crazy to see what standard looks like when this thing really gets going in the next set or two. When more things rotate out finally and we have new expansions coming in. Because I looked at the new cards today, like that Tarnation land and all that stuff, to see how good these things were going to be. And when you look at what the company is working with, because remember, they smashed these two sets together, They needed some of these cards probably to rotate into standard because they had plans for them also for Commander. They know there's future sales volumes there. They took the best they had probably and put it into the set. They're trying to salvage what they can. But by putting something like that into standard, it makes standard kind of crazy, or the potential to be crazy, depending on what we see coming with Bloomborough. Now, the side thing here that I think you guys need to be, if you've made this far into the video, I hope you're going to keep watching because we have more to talk about than just the sales slump of the company. And by the way, if you're looking to fix your sales slump, how do you get out of a sales drought? Well, you build good relationships with your prospects. Expand your sales pipeline. Learn how to handle objections. Work smart and not hard. Strengthen key skills. Conduct an analysis of past deals. Maintain a goal-oriented mindset and set a routine. That can definitely be applied to this company. Now here's the thing. They are applying some of those types of learnings into things. You guys all saw that little Beast Noble. The new card. That little guy. That little ripoff from The Mandalorian. That is something that I don't think people like you right now watching this video are thinking about. Do you know who controls your wallet? Because it's not you. You think it's you, I know. We all do. I'm a dad. It's our kids. It is your kid. Wizards of the Coast needs to adapt this game to a younger audience. They need to bring it down. The average player age for Magic is getting older. What is it, like 29 to 31 or something? Is the older Magic players. But they got kids. You start bringing in Pokemon-style cutie type little things, and before you know it, kids say, buy me that. And you can say you're not going to buy it. I've done that many times. But I buy my kid whatever he wants, basically. If he asks for a $5 to $7 pack of something, I'm just going to buy it. I work for a living. My kid deserves to have something the same as things I didn't get. It's the whole guilt thing that we do with our kids. Pretend all you want. I get how it works. And no, you can't convince me otherwise because I've been around families, so I get it. Now you look at that as a sales tactic. It's genius. You're taking a venerated game that's been around 30 plus years and they dumb it down. I don't like that term, but I'm just saying bring it down to a kid's level for the artwork, the game mechanics, simplify it. Now remember, look at the Bloomborough cards. Look at some of the cutesy anime style cards that you saw. The bats and stuff, right? Kind of Disney-ish, right? You bring those kind of things in. You get little kids involved. And by little kids, I mean like 6, 7, 8-year-olds. They can be taught to play Magic because I have nieces and nephews who play with me. And they do pretty well, by the way. They just have to be motivated. By who? The 30-year-old parent. Well, I'm almost 50, but you know what I mean? Telling them to try this out. So it's an ingenious strategy to bring it down and then age it up again. You want your kids involved? You want a Saturday night games night? We're going to play a Saturday night of Magic the Gathering. Just like any other board game. This is the strategy Wizards of the Coast is going to take. It looks like a sales drought right now, and they're going to have to go through this for a few years, I think, as this new tact, this new strategy comes into play. Because if people aren't going to dive in and buy new toys, because, you know, Hasbro's a toy company, and they've got to find ways out of the hole they're in, but still connect with children, because that's their company kind of thing, then this is a very smart way of going about it. There's no way it's not. Okay? Gripping into a kid who helps make decisions in their household just by virtue of being in that house, saying, I want some of these cards. I saw dad playing. I want to try playing it too. And the dad, or the parent, it isn't always a dad, it could be whatever, they're going to say, oh yeah, I'll teach you how to play. Look, they got these cute cards here. Let's go and buy some. And it becomes a family event, something you do together. And that is something that I think as a company, they are going to try to latch on to. They are going to try to broaden the spectrum out to get their hooks and get their claws into the next generation of kids to grow them up. Just like Pokemon is played by, you know, or collected by 40 and 50-year-olds, but is played by mini-moxes my kids' age and lower. Loads of kids just love to collect them all. Even if you're not playing Magic, you can collect them all. It's really smart. Now, is it a little bit late? Is it a tactic they should be trying at this point? It's never too late. This company knows that. They got a built-in audience that's going to keep aging. They got to bring a new audience in that is younger, that can age up and inherit some of this. Now, what does this mean for the game in terms of value, in terms of things? The problem that they have is it's too expensive. It is hard for a parent. And the kid says, I want to get a box of this. You're not going to spend $240 Canadian to get your kid a booster box of Magic. That's not going to happen. You'll crack packs. I would too. I buy Minimox packs every couple of weeks just to let them crack a couple. But the idea of this is they need to get a whole bunch of people in. You notice those starter decks started selling pretty good for Bloomburrow? You notice there's no starter decks for Thunder Junction? And we have new starter decks coming up. And they're cutesy little animals. I made a video about a month ago talking about that, saying that's something really to get kids involved. But now when you see this, when you see that they're not batting a good batting average, they're not hitting the 350s to 400s. They're just not having that kind of day anymore because the consumer base that they're batting to is not catching what they're hitting. It's like, oh, no! Yeah, that's a foul ball, man. I ain't touching that. Even something like Modern Horizons 3, it is not going to catch the way they need it to. It's not going to catch like Modern Horizons 2. Yes, it's going to be a good set. Yes, I think it's going to be tricked out with crazy stuff. But it's still almost $600 a box. All kinds of taxes and inflation have crept into the consumer base that was not here when Modern Horizons 2 was around. So, they can't hit the same score if the same audience isn't watching anymore. You can't have the same viewership averages for your TV program if people don't tune in because it got too expensive to watch on pay-per-view. The numbers just aren't going to add up the same way. Yes, there'll still be sales. Yes, stores will pick up for singles. Absolutely. I'm not going to say it's not going to be a good release, but it's still too expensive. For kids to get involved, too expensive. You'll see that they will come up with some other form of cheaper product. I'm calling it now. Time, date, stamp this video. They're going to find a way to bring it down. Because the drought that they're experiencing, this sales slump that they're in, it can't continue. It's too bad for business when Magic makes them so much money. So they have to find ways of least resistance. Do you think Marvel is a coincidence? Wait till you see some of the Marvel artwork. Look at the Moxman right now. I'm telling you, the versions of art, they're going to have, let's say the Hulk. You're going to have a very serious, adult-oriented artwork for that Hulk. It's going to look awesome. And you're also going to have some kind of almost movie-style, Avengers-style Hulk that kids might recognize. And then you're going to have some kiddie, preschool-style looking cards, is how I predict it coming out, to appeal to a younger audience. Oh, look, it's cute little Magic cards. And for the adults, look at my World War Hulk. This thing's an 8/8 indestructible trample double strike. And when it goes to your graveyard, you shuffle it back into your library. I hope that's a card. Anyway, that's the way I would do it. So I'm assuming that's something they would do because they're not. The company knows what they're doing. They know how to appeal to audiences. And all they have to do is make the kiddie ones cheap. Put the special collector versions inside the higher end boxes. The Marvel stuff is going to be a big kickoff for them. But they are preparing for it now. They are getting the checkerboard set up. I'm not going to say it's a chessboard. It's a checkerboard right now. It's too simple. They're going to get this checkerboard set up. And they're going to see if they can re-ramp things up in the next 5 years. You wait and see, calling it now. Because I'm looking at the numbers and they don't add up anymore. They're not the numbers they were a couple of years ago. And a company who gets used to that money, they'll never let it go again. You can only go up. It's very hard to go back. Contracting is bad for a company. Now, they can drive the same revenue by raising the prices and slimming the profit margins down on some of the product lines. But either way, in the end, it's not going to be enough. They need more. Companies like this always need more. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Slam down some comments. Thanks for stopping by the channel. We're like 13 minutes in. If you made it this far, congratulations. You have made it to Necronomicon page 1, which is see MTG Moxman every day. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. And of course, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. It's going to be very interesting, guys. I was thinking about this for a while, and I finally got this video put together when I started seeing the numbers. Because as we end off in the video here, none of the numbers are like they were a couple of years ago. These pre-sale numbers are just too low. And we know the money moves on so fast because they got us flipping wallets open all the time that they just can't generate the same revenue. And they don't get to capitalize on the singles market after it's released until they give us a secret layer of some kind. And you can only ramp that up so far too before you kill your IP market. It's like a big vicious circle. It's like you're chasing your own tail. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. And of course, guys, a big shout out and a thank you. I got fantastic patrons on this channel who support this content every day. If it wasn't for patrons like we have right now, daily content like this, it wouldn't be possible for the Mox Man to do. So I got to take these moments every day with a new message to thank the people who make this channel happen every day. Thanks to my patrons. Thanks to my YouTube membership members. Tell me that wasn't a slice of heaven, and welcome aboard. You have made it to the Ramble Jamble. You are at the after party session where we think about what's inside Deadpool's head. We look at Blaster from 1985, 86. I got to look at that afterwards. For Blaster, remember he had little tape cassettes inside? He had the rhinoceros and stuff. Transformers Generation 1 was so awesome. And of course, we got some coffee here from an awesome patron who sent me this awesome coffee cup. So, guys, unfortunately, this is going to happen. I don't think it's the ideal thing, but they're going to do it. What they should do and what they will do are entirely different. If I had what they should do, if I was in charge of Wizards of the Coast, yes, I would still be having nachos and cheese basically every day, except for someone would be bringing it to me, which would be kind of cool. Because I'd have some kind of secretary, I would assume, right? Some kind of helper person, an administrative assistant. But either way, I'm off topic already. If I was in charge, the first thing I would do is bring the Play Booster boxes all the way down in price. Yeah, I know. It's horrible to think about. Imagine a cheaper product. Bring it all the way down. I would knock off probably 30 to 40%. I know, it seems extreme. And you're thinking, well, the company... I know, but I'm in charge. They have to let me do this and allow me to explain that by cutting that price, we are cutting the headwinds. See, professional terms. We're cutting the headwinds that will allow us as a company to grow faster in the longer term. I would look in longer reaching strategies. I would institute all kinds of free programs to get these games into libraries, public schools. Even if it's a sillier, kind of more generalized version, as a way of teaching kids literacy and math and problem-solving strategy skills. I would introduce this thing to community centers as a free program that we offer across all of whatever place you're in. I would do it. And yes, it's going to cost a lot of money, but not as much as you think, because you'd be printing so much of it and offer free restocks just by a teacher filling out a form in a public school that you'd be able to advance this. Now, you'd have to make sure, depending on where part of the world you are, things are culturally appropriate and all that kind of stuff, but you would think that through. But by branching out this way and then offering free tournaments, free local tournaments, yes, I'd have an official judge program. Those judges would be paid by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. They would be employees, and they would have subset kind of judge learners who would not get paid, but could learn it as a job later. And yeah, a judge should make like $150K a year. I know. I'm in charge though. Remember, we have to go with this. I'd institute a $30 million prize pool for every single year. Seems like a lot, I realize, but with their operating capital for Hasbro, it's really a small thing, and I would try to grow this into a multinational type performance thing where you'd have to reach top tiers, and you have one team from Canada, one team from the US, one team from, I don't know, the UK, Japan, whatever countries want to participate, and you'd have these world events where teams play off against each other. Imagine that, and you'd build this, and it would take time, and I think it would be fantastic if they could look further into the future. And I know I've rambled on for far too long, but this is just one of those things when I saw how they're gonna, I know it's coming. I can see it in my head, and I would do no different. Appealing to kids is like getting into your wallet of the parent. And it's harder for parents to argue it, because really there are math, literacy, problem-solving skills, things we need to teach our kids built into this game. It's an amazing game. And I want to bring it to other people. I want my kid and his friends to play it. I think it's a lot more... It's just a lot better than looking at a screen all day, if that makes sense. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and a little bit of the jamble. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I don't get to say that enough. I know I say it, but you guys are awesome. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.